When did they file for bankruptcy?
December 2023. I've been trying to get that money back. The latest letter I got, they said I'm not a priority claim.
What's the amount in question?
A little over $10,000.
Someone owes you a bunch of money and you're thinking it can't get worse, and you find out they just filed for bankruptcy. Is this next caller ever going to see $1 of that money he's owed? Let's find out. What issue are you going through? What's the legal issue you got, Vito?
So I'm a consultant. I was working as a contractor for a large transportation company that's going through Chapter 11 bankruptcy and have some outstanding services and bills that they owed me. I've been following along with the case. I've been trying to get that money back. So it's a bankruptcy law case, and it's way above my realm of understanding. Kind of filed the paperwork, sent them all the invoices, everything, the communication electronic that I've had with them, and trying to get paid as a priority. But in the latest letter I got, they said I'm not a priority claim.
Okay.
So I guess that means I'll have to wait a little longer, but maybe we can still do something to keep me in priority status.
What's the amount in question?
A little over $10,000.
Okay.
Gotcha.
How long ago was this?
So this has been in the last.
When was
December,
the work? When was the work completed?
The work wrapped up in October of last year, 2023.
Okay.
When
did they file? When did they file for bankruptcy?
December 2023.
Bad timing.
Yeah.
Had you already invoiced them, like, by the time, like, so you did the work in October, but did you send any invoice between October and December?
No, they're just past due invoices from
the
preceding 5 or 6 months. Yeah.
So for the folks following along at home, typically a priority or administrative claim is going to be one that has some special characteristics. It's either one that was approved after the bankruptcy was filed, or you have some kind of priority status, like you have a security interest in some assets, or you're the IRS or some other kind of body like that. There's some other circumstances, but it sounds like, Vito, it's already been kind of said that you're not a priority claim. Did you get that letter from the trustee or from a creditors committee or the debtor themselves?
Yeah, I'm looking at the letter. District court, some division.
Okay. Yeah, so it's either the debtor or the trustee would have let you know that. So what that typically means is you're going to fall into the bucket of unsecured claims. So basically folks who have a claim that isn't secured with anything, isn't administrative, isn't priority. And most folks out there, if you're in a vendor business or a contractor business, you're going to be in that circumstance where you're just kind of going to get pennies or dimes or nickels on the dollar depending on how many assets are left.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
give us some more. Give us some more of the circumstance.
Yeah, they're saying that myself and a few other firms. They owed a lot of folks a lot of money, I think, and claims that were filed as an unsecured priority claim. They're saying I'm in fact an unsecured non-priority claim. So I follow with what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
What does that mean for me? And do I have any recourse to dispute it in the next few days? I think I'm coming up on that 30-day.
There is the deadlines are very serious
response
in bankruptcy court, so definitely want to make sure that you're sticking with those. There are a number of lawyers that are specifically focused on the creditor side, so you're considered a creditor, and they can make some very quick analysis. There's not a lot of information that you would have to file within the next couple of days, but we can send you some names of folks that do this kind of work and can quickly say, like, here's your best shot at priority or not priority. It doesn't sound like you're secured. It would be very unusual for a consultant or contractor to be having a secured claim. Priority maybe, but often not as well. So, Judah, what do you make of this? Are we speaking Latin over here or what?
Yeah, I think you're talking to people like, I just had a question for Vito, just like, again, to the layman, me, is why did you keep working for these guys for 6 months if they weren't paying you, right? You said that you had about 5 or 6 months of unpaid invoices. Why after like month 2 you're like, hey, there's something fishy going on here? I'm just curious, like, to understand your mindset, why you didn't stop much sooner and already make a claim like in August of last year or June to pay those invoices.
Yeah, no worries. I think, there's kind of been a pattern of like late payments for a while. So, at the time I didn't think that there were any kind of financial, that they would file for bankruptcy and have that impression. And the work I do is a little bit more of the government relations work. So, things kind of it's not like I'm out. It's really just my time that I'm trying to get compensated back for.
Right.
Time is money. Time is money, Vito. So you put a lot of time in.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. You're trying to keep the relationships going. Yeah. You don't want to turn it adversarial, especially if you don't know they're going through a problem. I mean, just, every day we hear about big chains that are just going under, or even smaller ones that just close their door. They don't even file bankruptcy. They just shutter everything and leaving, hardworking folks with small businesses holding the bag. So it's super frustrating. But, we'll get you some names for some folks. We can talk through a little bit more kind of off the call about what that status might be. And for folks, just to kind of throw out a little bit different, if you are a non-consultant, so if you were like a contractor that does construction or built something or delivered materials, you might have a secured lien through a mechanics lien or a materialsman lien that makes you a little bit different in that circumstance. So not every consultant is exactly the same, or every contractor. This is why bankruptcy has its own bar association, because it is so complex. Josh?
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers everything. Sadly, sometimes when people call in, we don't have a great answer, right? Like I can't go to the Monopoly board, pull out a card from chance and be like, oh, this is actually loophole 47.58, and here's a way to jump to the front of the line. It doesn't work like that. I will say though, that I think it's important for the callers at home to hear your story and kind of understand, hey, you don't want to let invoices go too long for sure. I think that it's interesting to kind of get into what is a priority and what isn't. And in this case, employees come first, people that are owed wages, right? Independent contractor status is not going to fall to that. So I wish we had better news for you, Vito Corleone. I don't have it for you right now, but I can tell you that whatever help is out there for you, we're going to try to help you get that. Okay.
Thank you. And can you all give any prospects if I remain in this unsecured priorities category?
Yeah, so even if you're unsecured, you're still going to fall into that bucket of folks that the creditors committee is helping to get paid. There's a whole process, a waterfall that happens where the dollars kind of go to the top folks, and then what's left goes down and down and down. And as part of the plan for the bankruptcy, it will have to say how many dollars are going to be there. You could object if you want. You could say, here's why I don't think it should be this way. And an attorney it's not a full-blown lawsuit or anything like that, but they can give you some advice about the ways to maneuver yourself to get a little bit more than you would have otherwise. Or they'll tell you, look, you're in line with everybody else, man. I'm sorry. The bread line is the bread line. Better luck next time. And this really is kind of the price of doing business sometimes.
Yeah. And one of the toughest things is we don't know how much bread is in that bread line, right? It could be that there's 20 cents on the dollar left to pay people out. It could be that there's 60 cents on the dollar. Sure. So without knowing that, it's going to be kind of hard to know where your claim's going to end up. But you'll want to try to get as far up in the line as you possibly can.
Yeah, we'll send you some names from some folks who are doing this work and get you moved in that direction ASAP.
All right,
thank you,
Vito.
Have a good one.
See you, Vito.
People in this circumstance, they try to do what they can from a relational standpoint, not realizing they're blindly heading off a cliff. And there's only so much protection you can even put in there, right? So you could put language in there like, we're not going to, you can't discharge this or that. But a lot of the bankruptcy rules say all that goes away.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard unless there's a statutory protection. I know I'm using a lot of boring legal words, but frankly, a lot of bankruptcy happens in a world where people are snoozing because they just don't understand. And some lawyers pretend to know what's going on in it and not realizing that it is really its own. It has its own code, separate from other areas of law.
Bankruptcy is big. It's scary. It's complex.
Don't be afraid to ask for your money too. I mean I see that. I've seen that with other clients too. Like they don't want to damage the relationship. He's like, oh, I don't want to press too hard on these invoices, but by like month 2, month 3, unless the company has very good reason why the payments are not happening, and they can show you, you really should raise questions, because the relationship is already being damaged. You're not being paid. Right.
It's two things that I think are the takeaways from my end. One, don't overextend yourself, right? 10K is a lot of money to a lot of people. No one's going to say that's trivial, but it's not 60,000 and he has employees on payroll, or 100,000 and he has employees on payroll. So don't overextend yourself is one, but then two, we're having this call with him and he's got less than 30 days to respond or whatever he was saying. It was less than 10 days to respond. He's got to respond. the time to talk to a lawyer is not 90 days or you don't talk to a lawyer as your time's expiring. In a bankruptcy case, you talk to a lawyer as fast as you can because time is of the essence on some of these filings. So that's going to do it for this call. Good luck to Vito Corleone with his casino empire. What did he know?
His lasagna factory.
Lasagna factory. Hey, I resemble that accusation. All right. See you guys next time. If you have a crazy legal story and you want to talk to some lawyers anonymously for free, call us.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
Nothing at all. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, to be honest.